Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. It's Anika. Before I begin today's video, I wanted to let you know that I've changed my YouTube channel name from Kisses2235 to Magenta Butterfly Crafts. I decided that I wanted a name that represented more of who I was as a crafter and what my channel is all about. I think my new name speaks to my love for the color purple, butterflies, and my passion for card making and crafts. In today's video, I've put together a montage of the cards I've created in the last 6 months. I hope you enjoy. This first card is using one of my favorite techniques called Emboss Resist. The embossing makes it very difficult for you to mess up this card. It provides a thick line so that the water does not escape outside of the image. I do have a process video on this card, so feel free to check that out. This card is one of my favorites too because I got the idea from watching Nicole McGork. She recreated a card just like this, and I cased this card, and I actually went out and I bought the stamp set and dies specifically to create this card, which I do a lot. It came out just like hers. I was super excited about it because she makes beautiful cards, and this card is one of my favorites. I actually created a set of these cards. This card right here I created using the penny black stamp Softly. And I found this stamp in a local scrapbook store here in Maryland. And I was really excited about this stamp. I think it is light and soft, as its name says, and easy to recreate a set of cards to give to someone for a gift. I really enjoyed making this card. This card was a surprise because I really couldn't figure out what to do with the flower bunches in this stamp set. I loved the big, thick, bold sentiments, but I couldn't figure out the flowers. But after watching a couple videos, I really liked how those card makers had kind of positioned the flower bunches off of their panel that were on the top of their card. And so I just took my stamps and I just kind of moved them around along the edge of my panel, and they really came out nice. I really enjoyed creating this card. This next card was created for a collaboration that I'm in here on YouTube called Oh So Inspired with Call Me Crafty Alicia. Once a month, she sends us some type of inspiration, and we have to pick anything about the card or the video or the colors and create something from that, be inspired from that in some kind of way. And this was my inspired project. So this was a lot of fun. Stamping on vellum proved to be tricky because some of it smudged, but I just kept going, and I was actually kind of excited about it because it is different from what I would normally create. So this was fun to make as well. So for this card, of course, you know it is filled with beautiful butterflies, which are my favorite. The idea came from something I saw on Pinterest. The technique that you see is based on the idea that distress inks will react when they're wet. So once I stamped the veins of the butterfly on there, I let it dry, and then I went back with my water brush and I wet it again, and that's how you get that look, because now the distress ink is wet again and it will react, and that's how that process worked. Super, super fabulous. I had the best time ever. And yeah, and it's an awesome card. Look how it pops up, and it will lay flat to fit into a card. So I had like the best time ever creating this card. This card is one of my favorites too, because I always loved seeing these cards on Pinterest and YouTube videos where the image is what looks like a paint stroke that a paintbrush would make. And so I found this stamp set at the local scrapbook store here in Maryland, and I also used my Altenew ink sets where they come in the cube, a set of 4s, and the colors are, you know, from lightest to darkest in that shade of purple, blues, reds, oranges, and everything. And so that's how this card came to be. And the butterflies are just cut out of matching blue cardstock. Also, the sentiment on there, I cut out using a die, but I cut out several of them and stacked them up on top of each other, so you really got a thick, bold sentiment on that card, and I thought the design of the card really did it justice. This card was a labor of love because coloring it in was time consuming, but the effect was amazing. I used my Kiritaki Clean Clear Real Brush markers, and it came out awesome. This card was, or this set of cards was scary to make. This was using the Tim Holtz Oxide Distress inks, and I watched the tutorial with Jennifer McGuire, and she made it seem so beautiful, and I wasn't quite sure if they were coming out like they were supposed to, but just like many of the card makers out there, I wasn't stopping. I was going forward, and we're going to create this card no matter what. So I created panels of each color, and then I took my heart die and I just cut out several of each one because I knew I was going to make more than one card after all this work. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you who created the sentiments on these cards because I found them in my stash, and I don't know if this ever happens to you where you forget to put the stamps back in their packaging and they get lost and misplaced. You can't find the packaging, and so I found them in a baggie of stamps going through my stash one day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember how much I love these sentiments, and so I decided to create a card set using those. But in the end, I think the cards came out fabulously, and I was so surprised because I was like, oh my, I created this, and it looks like it's supposed to look. So I was excited about that card too. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like my video. And if you want to see more videos from my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I hope you all have a great, fabulous day, and I will see you in the next video.